Tots, the premium champagne.
Right now, you're just 90 seconds away from Chef Boyardee with microwave meals. Chef Boyardee pasta, hot and tasty, and with no messy cleanup. Chef Boyardee microwave meals. Thank goodness, in just 90 seconds.
Think of your hands and think of a name. For years, it's healed and restored rough, dry skin. Now there's something more. Announcing new, improved Vaseline Intensive Care. An even better formula with more healing ingredients. It heals rough, dry skin fast. So when you think of your hands, think of our name. New, improved Vaseline Intensive Care Lotion. Now with even more healing ingredients.
I'm J.D. Roberts. Up next on Channel 6 Action News, a Dolphin defender is off the team and accused of rape. Several Americans are seized by Salvadoran rebels. And we'll introduce you to the craziest of canes. Stay tuned. Channel 6 Action News is next.
Tomorrow at 5, On the Run from the Mafia, on the next Geraldo, only on Channel 6.
Who's on Pat tonight? Let's get to the bottom of this. Get the lowdown. Actor Sam Elliott tells all. And the rock group Poco reunites tonight.
America's Homecoming Week continues on CBS with the 14th annual Circus of the Stars. Join ringmasters Stacy Keach, Barbara Mandrell, and Leslie Nielsen as Hollywood goes big top with Willie Ames, Christian Alfonso, Karen Black, Deirdre Hall, Lynn Redgrave, Alex Trebek, Ben Vereen, and many more. It's all Wednesday at 9 on CBS.
America's Homecoming Week continues with a visit from the all-time superhero, Superman, making the planet a safer place for everyone. Battling three supervillains and falling in love. Don't miss Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman in Superman 2, Thanksgiving night.
America comes home to college football's best. Arkansas, Texas A&M, Penn State, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, Miami. Thanksgiving weekend celebrate on CBS.
This is CBS.
Good evening. I'm J.D. Roberts.
And I'm Barbara Sloan. Coming up on Channel 6 Action News, a Dolphin defender is sacked by the coach and faces accusations of rape.
A day of turmoil in El Salvador. Americans are reportedly captured by rebels.
A follow-up to an Action News exclusive. A former political leader is indicted in Dade.
And the Canes' craziest fan. Our Cane Fever coverage continues.
Action News is next.
Toshiba introduces the brightest, most powerful TV in its class. The new 32-inch Super Tube with power swivel and super carver sonicalography. Think of it as turbocharged TV.
Giant warehouse sale. Purchase a set of hand-painted accessories by Velpan and get free a 5-piece set of Lucite accessories, value $35. Designer comforters, Queen and King, regularly $200, sale $69.99. Hundreds of designer and 200 thread count sheets, Queen and King, regularly $50, sale $11.99. Embroidered towels, $25, now $5.95. Fieldcrest, Paisley, Bath, $4.95. Down pillows, $60, sale $19.95. Ruffles, Queen and King, $9.99. Everything must be sold. Living Trust, one store only, 187th Street and Biscayne Boulevard, Romans Plaza, south of Aventura Mall.
We're earning our reputation one story at a time. Now, Barbara Sloan and J.D. Roberts, Channel 6 Action News.
Their success on the field leveled more turmoil off. A Miami Dolphin sacked by an accusation of rape. Good evening. Just 3 days ago, he was on top of the world with his Miami Dolphin teammates. Linebacker David Fry shared in a victory streak and hoped for the playoffs. But tonight, Fry is off the team after breaking curfew, and more seriously, is facing an accusation of rape. Channel 6 Action News sports reporter Russell Shamoka has details.
David Fry came to the Dolphins during the 1986 season after being released from the Atlanta Falcons. This is Fry's 7th year in the NFL. While with the Dolphins, he was a second-string linebacker and played on special teams. According to a complaint filed with the Dallas police obtained by Channel 6 Action News, a Dallas woman alleges Fry and a friend, Tom Bailey of Dallas, became acquainted with her and another woman at a popular Dallas nightclub. The two women followed Fry and Bailey to an apartment on the north side of the city. Once there, the complaint says Fry and Bailey both raped one of the women. At this hour, Dallas police tell me they are investigating but have filed no charges. Stu Weinstein, the team investigator, told me today the Dolphin staff knew of the complaint but postponed any action until after the game.
Are you looking into it? Yes, I am. Can you talk about any of the details? No. No, I can't. Okay.
Coach Don Shula refused to talk about the alleged rape incident, but did make a statement about violating the team's 10 p.m. curfew by Fry and wide receiver Mark Clayton.
Fry and Mark Clayton were guilty of a curfew violation the night before the ball game, and we investigated it and then made the decision to waive Fry, and Clayton is going to be fined for conduct detrimental and also for a curfew violation, and he's being put on notice for anything major that happens in the future, the possibility of suspension from the football team.
Clayton left the team's hotel after curfew, but is not mentioned in the complaint filed by the Dallas woman.
This is not the first time off-the-field allegations have hit the Dolphins. During the preseason, wide receiver Mark Duper named in a sex assault complaint, but police decide not to file charges. Then, defensive lineman Eric Kumaro charged with assaulting police officers outside a Fort Lauderdale nightclub. That case is still pending.
This is a regrettable action that I felt that I had to take. I just feel a player the night before a ball game should get himself ready to play the ball game, and I'm disappointed that these two players decided to go out on their own.
This latest incident comes at the time when the Dolphins don't need any more off-the-field distractions. The team has won 6 out of their last 7, tied for first place in the division, and for the first time in a long while, playoff talk is going around. Russell Shamoka, Channel 6 Action News.
Fry and his attorney have yet to comment on the accusations made by the Dallas woman.
Fort Lauderdale police tonight are trying to piece together a horrifying crime, the apparent murder-suicide of an elderly couple. 76-year-old Carl Isaac Bear and his 76-year-old wife Esther were found shot to death in their apartment on Southeast 15th Street. Police say Mr. Bear was ill and suffering from depression. However, tonight detectives say they're not absolutely sure that he shot his wife and then himself. They say a double suicide is possible, and they're still investigating. The final chapter in the case surrounding Joyce Cohen, convicted of murdering her husband, was played out today in a Dade courtroom. Judge Frederica Smith accepted the jury's recommendation and sentenced Cohen to life in prison. But before she did, Smith heard emotional testimony from one of Stanley Cohen's children.
And he'll never know his grandfather because she killed him. She deserves to spend the rest of her life in prison, and she deserves to die in prison.
With additional charges tacked on, Joyce Cohen must now spend at least 40 years in prison before she's eligible for parole.
More damaging testimony was leveled at Miami police officer William Lozano today as his manslaughter trial continued at the Metro Justice Building. Today, prosecutors put an expert who reconstructs accidents on the stand, and he disputed Lozano's claim that motorcyclist Clement Lloyd was coming at him at 47 miles an hour. William Fogarty also said Lloyd was likely some 14 feet from Lozano when the fatal shot was fired, but admitted under cross-examination that there's no way to say for sure.
Channel 6 Action News first told you about it last night, and tonight it's official. The former chairman of the Dade County Democratic Party, Alfredo Duran, is under indictment. Channel 6 Action News reporter Susan Candiotti, who's been investigating the case, has tonight's details.
I am shocked and disappointed that this charge has been made.
Prominent Dade County lawyer and community activist Alfredo Duran denies he knowingly participated in an alleged bribery scheme to retrieve a seized drug plane in the Dominican Republic.
I have long supported the war against crime and corruption. It is ironic that I would be one of its victims. But every war, including this one, has innocent casualties.
There was no plane, and there was no seizure. It was all an invention of the United States and its agents.
As I told you first last night, the government contends Duran is no innocent. It has indicted him and 2 other people, including a retired Dominican Republic Army general, on corruption charges, adding that Duran's prominent standing in this community as a lawyer does not shield him or others.
This office will indict individuals without regard to their position in the community. If they are found to have violated the law, if they are found to be appropriate targets of a search warrant, the office will not and never will take into account who they are or how prominent they might be.
Mr. Duran does raise an important question. That is, why are 2 other people named in this investigation, including an administrator with the Federal Aviation Administration, not included in this indictment? Well, the government says the case isn't over, and Mr. Duran's defense has just begun. In Miami, Susan Candiotti, Channel 6 Action News.
Susan says Duran claims he was entrapped by the government. He will likely turn himself in tomorrow.
Ironically, less than 1 week after state lawmakers approved a $39 million budget increase for the Department of Health and Rehabilitative Services, that agency is being ordered to slash its budget by $59 million. It's all part of an overall cutback in state spending. The elderly will feel the crunch most as nursing homes lose more than $13 million. And another $2 million is being taken from elderly care. Aid to the homeless will be cut by $186,000. The latest rebel offensive against El Salvador's government, one that directly involves the United States, may not be over tonight. Earlier reports said that the Salvadoran government had negotiated an end to a hostage-taking at a hotel. But it now appears that American military advisors may still be held by the guerrillas. Channel 6 Action News reporter Stephen Langford has details.
Gunfire today between left-wing rebels and the Salvadoran army was heard all the way to Washington, because in the middle of it all were 4 American soldiers trapped on the 4th floor of a Sheraton hotel. But these were Green Berets, armed and ready, and the Salvadoran rebels apparently failed to reach the American soldiers, despite having taken over most other sections of the hotel. It appears there may have been some American civilians in other parts of the hotel, and while there was no evidence any were taken hostage by the rebels, their ability to leave was made impossible by the armed standoff. Meanwhile, Salvadoran army tanks and troops secured the area outside the hotel, but suffered some casualties in the offensive. Today's battle is significant in that it's the first time the rebels have taken their fight into a wealthy neighborhood of San Salvador. Until now, the left-wing extremists had fought it out with government forces in the slums of the capital. Here in Miami, Salvadoran community groups began mobilizing last week to gather medical supplies and raise money for their countrymen back home.
We're very concerned with the large amounts of people who are wounded and who are injured in the streets and who need medical care, medical assistance. And the hospitals themselves don't have any medical supplies in order to attend these people.
Late-breaking information at this hour on the status of the Americans. CBS News has reported that 17 foreigners have been released from the hotel, but that the U.S. soldiers are not among those freed. Obviously, all eyes are on the White House at this point as to whether the administration is ready to strike in order to free the Americans in San Salvador. CBS News again has reported that some of the Delta hostage rescue force has been mobilized and has been given an order to move into position for a possible mission. Obviously, no more details at this time on this sensitive operation. J.D.?
Stephen, is there any word at this point in time what the leftist rebels are looking for in keeping the Americans?
Well, obviously attention. By and large, in these situations, that is what they're looking for, and they got it.
All right, Stephen, thanks very much. Barbara?
Demonstrators in Czechoslovakia continue to push for democracy in their country. For the 5th straight day, hundreds of thousands of protesters jammed the streets in Prague. The onslaught of rallies, marches, and petitions all demanded reform in the government. Premier Ladislav Adamek said he favored a role for non-communists in government, but added that socialism would remain intact in that country. But in Berlin, the American rock group Crosby, Stills and Nash took advantage of the new freedom sweeping across Germany. The trio performed an impromptu concert in front of the Berlin Wall today.
Did you question all the answers? Did you envy